Greetings, Commander, Cerebrats, and Executors. In this episode, we are going to be talking about the minimap. The minimap is in the bottom left of your screen, and it shows you a view of the entire game map and everything you've got vision of right now. The white rectangle on the minimap shows you where your camera is. As you move your camera around to look at different things, that white rectangle moves to show you where you are in the scale of the overall game world. You can also move your camera around by left-clicking on the minimap. There are a lot of commands you can execute using the minimap. If you have units selected, you can right-click on the minimap. If you have building, to command them to move to that location. If you have building selected, you can right-click on the minimap to command them to rally to that location. You can use the attack command and then left-click on the ground. When you have a unit and you want to attack, command left-click on the ground to tell them to A-move to that spot. You can left-click on the minimap instead of in the game world to tell them to A-move to that spot. Now, the minimap also displays all the buildings and units owned by players in the game that you can see. A lot of the map is black right now because I haven't explored it yet, but I can see my two allies in the south of this map. I can see their allies. If I select them, their buildings are yellow, they have yellow circles around them. And my three enemies in the top of the map, the north of the map, which you can see their enemies, they have red circles around them when I select them. Now you might notice, I am the red player, my buildings are red colored, but on the minimap I appear green. The minimap generally displays every player as their own color, the color they've been assigned in the scheme of the game. But the minimap will display your things, all the things you own, as this shade of green. Now, this shade of green is not a color that a player can be given in the game. There are shades of green in the game, but not this one. There are shades of green that someone can appear as in the game world, but not this one. Now, there are a few things you can do to change how the minimap appears. The first one can be activated with this button or by pressing the tab key on the keyboard. It's mainly activated by accident when people press tab when they're trying to press a different key. If you press tab, it will toggle whether terrain appears on the minimap or not. Right now you can see terrain on the minimap. You can see the sort of grassy area here with the more dirt regions around the outer edge of this base. You can see there's grass in the middle, there's dirt areas on the outer edge of the map. If I press tab, all the terrain visualization is gone. You can't see what the terrain looks like. You can't see high ground, low ground, water, cliffs, anything. You can still see all the units in the game, including all the resources. Minerals and gas, by the way, resources always appear as this cyan blue color. Again, you cannot get players who are exactly this color in the game, although there are various blues that they can appear as. And you can press tab again to turn the terrain visualization back on the minimap. Really, I don't know why you'd ever turn it off. It's useful to have that information. It's useful to be able to see what the map terrain looks like on the minimap. But it's useful for you to know that this option exists. In case you accidentally turn it on, you just press tab again to turn it off. Now, there's another option for changing the display, and this is for changing the display of colors on players. If you hold down Shift and press Tab, you can toggle through allied colors, or what's called allied colors. Now, toggle can be a little bit misleading as the term for this because there are actually three different options that you can cycle between. The first option is the default one. On the minimap, you appear green, all your allies and enemies appear as their own in-game colors, and you appear as your own in-game color in the game, and so do your allies and enemies. If I hold Shift and press Tab, which I just did, then the in-game colors all look the same. This player is still, teal, this player is still blue, this player is still purple, this player is still orange. But on the minimap, I'm still green as normal, but my allies are yellow and my enemies are red. And if I press Shift-Tab again, I'll shift into the third state. In the third state, the minimap hasn't changed. My enemies are red on the minimap, my allies are yellow on the minimap, but you might notice if you look at my buildings, they're not red anymore. they have become... This color's actually teal, but it's the closest thing there is to green in the original StarCraft's default set of colors. And my allies actually appear yellow now. So this third state changes the in-game color appearances of players, and my enemies are red, so that you look not exactly green, but as close to green as reasonable. Your allies are yellow, your enemies are red. Of course, one of the problems with this is it prevents you from being able to distinguish between different allies and different enemies. Right now, all three of my enemies are different races, but normally in a game, that will not be the case. You can have situations where you have multiple different enemies who are playing the same race, and if you're in this mode, it's very easy to tell what's your stuff, what's your ally's stuff, what's your enemy's stuff, because you just look at the color. If it's teal, it's mine. If it's yellow, it's my allies. If it's red, it belongs to one of my enemies. But it's hard to distinguish which of my enemy's things belong to which enemy players, which can be important for some tactical decisions. You might also notice the neutral critters appear yellow on the minimap. You can see spots of yellow popping in and out now and then. Here's one. On the minimap, he is yellow. You just watch here. Because yellow is also the color of neutral. So, if you press Shift-Tab again from this third state, we go back to the normal state of the game, where you can see each player as their own color, and you can see yourself on the minimap as green, but you see everyone else as their own color on the minimap. So this is the normal state. Shift-Tab to move to showing, to coloring people by their alliance status on the minimap, and then Shift-Tab again to color people by their alliance status in the game world, and then Shift-Tab again to get back to normal.